Hello and welcome to What's Map for Cities Skylines, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. There are thousands of items on the workshop now, so finding the right one for your next city build is a huge task. So each day, Monday to Saturday, we'll review some using our 5-star rating and the coveted seal of approval. So join me, fellow Skylines explorers, as we venture out to today's new land. Who am I? I'm BonBonB, and you are very, very welcome.
Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. BonBon here, how you doing? Right, today's map. Whoa, today's map. Today's map is the one. I mean, the next one. You know, that map that you see and you know it's the next map you are going to play. It's got everything that you are looking for. It's perfect. But then you get up, you walk into the kitchen, you pick up a frying pan, and then you repeatedly cave in your skull time and time and time again with said frying pan until blood comes out of every single facial orifice. Yes, it's a map that offers so much and then takes it all away right at the very end. Oh no. There's only one way to cheer yourself up in this situation, and that is to sit back down, get your finger waggling, and put it down on that mouse button, roughly in the area of the like button. That's right, clicking like really does help support the channel, and I thank you all so much for doing so. Right, shall we have a look at this then, shall we? Shall we do it? I think we should. It's Halcyon by Crisis. Crisis is definitely the word in this situation. So near and yet so very, very far. The start square looks like that. Loads of blank build plane, and I like the fact that it's blank build plane. Brilliant. And then we'll have a look at the resources. Look at that. Absolutely spot on. Beautiful. What isn't spot on beautiful is, however, my positioning of the camera over the workshop, where you can't see the bottom tree, but we will see that later. I promise you we will see that later. But yeah, a few generic trees, Starburg theme, and we'll be using the realistic 1.2 LUT. Okay, so today we're going to do a review backwards. We normally start with the road and rail. Today we're going to finish with the road and rail. Reason will become obvious when we get there. Now, today's map is, without doubt, one of the most exciting and disappointing maps at the same time. Let's start by having a quick overview. The quick overview, you can see we've got this central bay area, which is within the 25 tiles. That's brilliant. And the central bay area, devoid of trees, which is also nice because it means that nothing's going to be eaten up in the round when you build over it. And it's almost perfectly flat. Okay, there is some increase in the terrain. If we roll up here, you can see the terrain lines. It's very, very level as a rule, barring one or two little dips like this. It's going to be really easy to build on there. Great, this is a great start. And look, we've got these plateaus, which are also equally quite flat and quite lovely to build on. Excellent. Now, let's switch the terrain lines back off for the moment. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got this island over here, which is a good shape, a good size. We've even seemed to have some sort of harbour on the end here. Now, the problem with building a map like this isn't quite to scale. If we were to try and pop down the broken jetty on there, well, we all know it's going to fill up most of that. It's not really going to work like that, but played as a on scale, it's quite nice. Kind of cigar shaped, isn't it, this island? Quite like the island. I really do quite like the island. We've got some very nice a ridge across the top here, which is very buildable space as well, left clear again. Once again, good planning and good work from Crisis. Great work. Oh, hang on, while we're here though, we do have we have this little beach. I'm showing you the little beach. And then over here, I think there's another beach around here now. Ah, yes, here it is. We've got this little beach. And there's a little beach over here. Yeah, that for me. That's a bit of a fail there, like that. It's a shame. Then over here we have on the edge of map we have some more beaches, but this is nice as well. If you come down here, if I were to sit here and do that as a thumbnail, which I might even do, look at that, you go, this could be a very nice map. And it can be a very nice map. Down here we've got this little bay in here with this little, I don't know, little lagoon, for want of a better phrase, down here. And that works very nicely as well. Then we go up into the hills, and look at the hills, just look, it's really very nice and pleasing. A little bit sparse in trees, but not horrendously so. It just feels like there might be some missing, but obviously not. Up here we've got a lot of trees on the top plateau here. This is definite forestry area here. This is good. Anyway, let's pull up and have a quick look across from the plateau. Yeah, it's okay. From this angle, these little hills look a bit odd, but and possibly the tree placement on some of them doesn't make the hugest amount of sense. But I think we can let that bit go. Okay, and then over the other side we've got this river. The river runs through it, and the river is very, very nice as well. Nicely shaped. Oh, hang on, we've got the river mouth, which comes down here and goes into this little angle down here as well, which quite a lot of rivers do. The one nearest to me does that as well, so I'm okay with that. Then we come up here, we've got undulating riverbanks changing and moving around. Coming up through the canyon here, we've got a lovely waterfall. Lovely little set piece waterfall. I love a nice little set piece waterfall. And that is very nicely done. 2-tier as well here. Colours are amazing. Well, we are of course using the realistic V1.2 LUT because there was no defined LUT on the workshop. We come up to here and right, okay, so we're at the edge of the map. Yeah, kind of liking it. If I pull back here, you're kind of liking it. Yeah, there's something quite charming about this map. Come back after the asset and theme and I'll show you why it's not so good. And so off to Assetville for today's parkable asset. It's the parking zone 6x6 by Core 79. I saw this on the workshop. It was actually in the Steam Top 20, and I figured it had to be reviewed. There's something quite nice about it. However, these disabled parking decals, they don't appear on the screenshot, and yet they do appear here. I'm wondering if this has been a late addition. Something about it is definitely not right. I'm sure Core 79 will have fixed it by the time this video goes out. If not, Core 79, could you fix the parking decals? That would be very nice of you. Thank you very much. So anyway, parking zone 6x6. I really do like that. By Core 79, today's very parkable asset of the day. Themington, please. We head off to Themington Island for a night view now of New Caledonia Concrete V1.1 by Biza Biols with the photorealistic LUT by Reaper. Of course, this is my preferred theme and LUT combo, personal, but you'll have your own personal favourites. Let's have a look at a couple of factoids, because factoids, bear in mind this book was published back in the 1980s, so these factoids, well, the first one especially, may already be obsolete. In the state of Minnesota, it is against the law to have male and female underwear hanging together on the same washing line. What are they going to do? What are they? And in today's current day and age, male and female, it can be the same thing, you know. It's one of those worlds that we're living in. Charlie Chaplin's film, Limelight, was banned in the US for 20 years because of Chaplin's political stance. When it was eventually shown in 1972, it won an Oscar. And that's it. Let's go back to that map, shall we? Okay, so now let's see the problems with this map. First of all, we always start off by having a look at the shipping routes. Shipping routes aren't a problem. We've got this one comes around here, comes through here, which is fine. And then we got this goes off the edge of the map that way. Oh, we've got something going on here. Hang on. Oh no, it's a ship coming our way. A ship coming our way. That's fine. and then we have one shipping route that just comes down into the river mouth and stops about there, and that's all very good indeed. No problems there. Let's have a look at water flow, shall we? Water flow. Let's start at the top of the river. Top of the river, good water flow here. And rolling down here, we know there's a waterfall, so that's going to get the water moving as well. That's a very good way of actually getting momentum with the water. And then it just starts slowing down. It's still moving out though. It's still moving out. This is good. And then the wider it gets, the less water motion there is. And we're starting to get a little bit of a problem as we get down towards the start square area. And when we get to start square area, yes, we've got the water pushing in. We can kind of pretend it's a tidal river, but it does mean that in this kind of area here, that is where the sewage is going to be. And although there's plenty of water there to sort of like dilute it, and it'll be evaporated away, even the sewage, strangely enough, that still is a little bit of a problem for me. Let's have a look at the water sources. We've got one right at the very top of the river there. We've got one in here, one in this lagoon. That could be used maybe for sewage. With that will maintain the water level, so you could, in theory, use that for sewage. Oh, we've actually got a little bit of exit. Oh, it's coming in. The water is pushing in. So that's an interesting use of the water source up there. It's obviously not pushing out. And that's it for the water sources. Right, okay, let's come out now and have a look at... We'll start with the trees. Have a look at these trees. These are the trees. Right. Now, and we've got a change of trees up here, and there's even more up the top. Now, let's remember back to what was on the workshop. Those are the trees that we've got to subscribe to on the workshop. But have a look at the loading screen mod. Now, that's the report that's been churned out for the loading screen mod, and those are the trees that are actually being used. Only those ones. Now, having had a look at the screenshots on the workshop, it would appear that, I don't know, is this an early save that's been uploaded? Because there's a lot missing. And that seems very weird to me. But let's go back and have a look at the road and rail on this map. We'll start with the rail. Okay, rail here. We've got this rail link runs all the way across the map. Now, okay, we've got a little bit of an incline here. And this map is obviously based on the real world map. And although it's not a one-to-one scale, you've kind of suspended... These things don't exactly work. Okay, when you go not 1-to-1, because let's say if you go 1-to-2, or 2-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-2-2-1, I can't remember which way around it is, but basically, yes, the scale is, instead of having a 1-to-1 where all the inclines are 1 meter, if you kind of try and do the same exact thing, but on the half scale, all those inclines are going to be double the height. There be the problem if you're going to maintain the same sort of aesthetic with the hills. So here, right, if we could turn the terrain lines back on, see, this is all very nice. This is all very quite flat. I mean, you can see there is some incline in the rail, but it's steady. It's fairly steady. And then we get to this, and it drops away down a cliff. Each of these is a 1 meter change in elevation, and it's dropping away. Now, if you're playing this as a realistic map, and it is, look at it, it is a realistic map, there goes your realism. So you've got to be a little bit creative when you're doing a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2 or a realistic style map. Turn the terrain back off. So come down here, we get an even bigger drop off down here, whoop, and then this cruises down to the bay area where it does like level out quite nicely. It's kind of like, there's a nice aesthetic to it, it's just the drop takes away from the realism. That's exactly the sort of like path that I would have used to take this one as well. So yes, good work there from Crisis. And then comes down here through the start square, cutting by the way, very nicely done. through the start square. Now, this is where we can follow the road and the rail. This is the highway connection. Yes, just this one. Nothing else. One highway connection. We'll come back and have a look at that in a moment. So anyway, we'll follow this down. Well, shall we follow the rail? No, let's follow the road. You know that what the rail's going to do more or less, don't you? The road's pretty good. Following a nice path as well. Nice and smooth. Following a sensible route. Around this way and around that way and down here. And then we've got this little area. We've got an elevated section around here. Kind of, yeah. Actually, yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense to take that route around there. Would I have continued the road along here to there? Possibly, but I wasn't there when they built the original roads. So this is probably the exact route that the engineers have taken. And then that follows around there. And it's nice and flat and level all the way. And you've also got the rail coming back this way as well, which is cool. And that follows along the coastline and ends up back at the start square. Start square is good and flat. But this single highway connection means that you're going to be doing more of a rural build, a small build, because anything more than that is going to clog up on that road badly. Except for, look at all the build space. That is encouraging you to do a big build. Small build. Big build. And that is my biggest problem with this map. One highway connection, national road. If that's how it is in real life in this area, in Halcyon area, then I fully understand that. I kind of like get it. But I don't think it's going to work as a Cities Skylines map. Let's go back down to that location that I chose for the thumbnail, because I think that was actually a very good thumbnail location. How about something like that? That's pretty cool. We'll go with that. Okay, let's mark this thing up. Aesthetically, I like it. I think it has got a lot going for it. If it had the full complement of trees, very easily a 4-star map. Who knows, it might even have pushed close to the 5th. Who knows? But definitely 4 stars. But it doesn't have the full complement of trees. It seems to be lacking something, and I can only give it a 3. Detailing. The detailing is pretty good. Pretty good. But asking us to subscribe to trees that we don't need, that the map really does need, there's a problem. And because of that, I'm going to have to mark it down to just 2 stars for detail. It's a shame because it really deserves it. Honestly, this map, once again, was begging for 4 stars for detail. Gameplay potential, yeah. Small problem with the water. Small problem with just that one tiny weeny highway connection. I mean, the whole map works. If you want to do a little rural build on this, it's going to be very nice for you. But it's begging out for so much more. And for that, I'm going to have to mark it down again to 2 stars. And yet, with a little bit of creativity, this map would have got the seal of approval. It's a shame. So much potential, this map. So much. Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing. Join me tomorrow for another map in the What Map series. It's the request map tomorrow. It's voted for by the BonBonB buddies on Patreon, as you can see there. The map on screen now, you can go back and vote on, was the very last map before What Map went into treble digits. Worth checking out. Tomorrow's especially so. It's an Halcyon map. Well, tomorrow's episode 100. You know what I mean? Tomorrow's a year ago. I'll forget it. See you tomorrow.